I'm gonna wait till that leaves. We can edit this out in the video.
Tom.
No, fuck you.
Hi, Tom.
It's
Hi.
not okay.
Welcome to WeTaku Anime Reviews, a podcast in which four friends come together to talk about anime. I am one of your hosts, Jovan, and with me are my three co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Thomas. I heard a couple. Hey,
What?
You okay?
Tom, are you okay?
Hello?
yeah. Sorry, I'm getting something weird through my headphones.
Okay.
Do you guys not hear that?
No.
No.
Oh, fuck. I know what it is. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Continue. I thought I cut out. Is what happened. All right.
So that's Thomas.
That's Thomas. Sometimes he communes with the extraterrestrial and we allow it to happen. It's fine.
I'm Steven, and I think I've officially crossed into full-on weeb territory in the past 2 weeks of my life. So that's the thing.
Just?
Makes you feel better. He's been there for years. He's just
No,
now accepting
no.
it.
I was already a weeb, but I have went off the deep end, for sure.
Good job.
Would you like to tell us how you found yourself?
How I found myself? Well, I have a waifu pillow now. It's not a Dakimakura, but it's a waifu pillow.
Mm-hmm. Of?
Is that it in the back corner? Right
Yeah,
there?
hang
Come on,
Let
it's
me-
important.
let me-
Yeah. Gotta see this.
It's
Look
right
at
here.
this- oh, of course it is. Of course it
Yeah,
is.
Don't you remember him buying it, Jovan?
No!
Yeah.
That
Javon, you
look
were literally standing there. Yeah, it's Love Lounge.
When did you
It's
buy
Nico and
that?
Maki. At the Otaku flea market.
Okay.
We went to a con recently, so
need
The same
that
place
still.
that the other person that we were with bought the Skeletor shirts. Remember?
No, I know.
Yeah.
I remember the Skeletor shirts. I don't remember the pill.
it's because you
fine.
weren't paying attention to me.
I shouldn't. I really shouldn't.
But I
is what
now
did.
have a waifu pillow.
Alan, introduce yourself, please, faster. God help.
Hi, I'm Allan. I don't have a fancy introduction like the other two.
Well, that's Alan.
Okay. Alan
Today,
still doesn't have a camera.
Yeah, I
Alan
still don't have a
doesn't
fucking camera.
He had
New
a
Year's
camera
resolutions.
once, last time.
Yeah,
That's-
but not this
That
time
was
because
all right.
we're back to our normal setups, which means no camera for me.
New Year's resolutions. Get Alan a fucking camera. Now, speaking of New Year's resolutions, show's gonna run a little bit differently. As you might notice, there are no scores on our overlay. Scores are kill because they were kind of really arbitrary.
Thank God.
And we're
Too much
past
work.
it.
Too much work.
Okay, so the real
didn't
reason
do
scores are
much.
kill is because our editor here, Alan, got really angry at all numbers after killed them.
Numbers are evil.
Hmm.
Numbers are evil. So instead, we'll just be doing them without. We'll see how it goes.
We just think it's a much better way of doing things than trying to stick to strict numbers to be able to say, I liked it, I didn't like it, I'd recommend it, I wouldn't recommend it.
And more
Yeah.
time for discussion, too.
For
That
sure.
was more to Steven's idea than Alan's, but
I mean, this was kind of a thing between the three of us in like a 1 a.m. car ride.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, that's when
Anyhow.
all the best decisions are made. So,
It was a good one.
that's how we're going to move on forward from here. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep this. We're going to keep on improving on it. New Year's resolution for WeTaku. Consistency and, well, not perfection, but improvement. So, today we are talking about Shokugeki no Soma, or for any of the English, Food Wars. This is a shonen, kind of, manga written by Yuto Tsusaka, and the anime is produced by, I want to say it's JC, but I have no
It's
idea.
JC.
It's J.C.Staff.
Thank you, I was right. It is J.C.Staff. I know everything about everything. So, it's produced by J.C.Staff. It came out, what was that, 2015. So, Food Wars follows... Okay, best description. People fight each other by cooking food at each other. Winner wins, loser has their clothes explode off because they're orgasming about how good the food is. Have I missed
An
anything?
example is my face right now, which is, oddly enough, covering up the actual main character's face almost perfectly. If any of you, if any of you guys are looking at the stream.
I'm about to open up the stream. I
In
need
the
to
stream, you
know.
can actually see the two bees that are the main characters.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Also, Javon, your description was the exact same as the way I described that rhythm game I purchased. The
Listen,
exact same description.
Sometimes food is just so good, people orgasm, and that's just the rules. All right. Oh wow, Alan, you chose a beautiful picture. Anywho, so I don't think I missed anything there.
Nope.
So let's jump into recommendations real fast. I strongly recommend it. As somebody who really likes shonen battle anime, I've recently, in the last year and a half-ish, really gotten into the off stretches of shonen battle, which is to say, this as a form of battle that instead of actually fighting each other, they just throw food into each other's mouths violently, but cooking. And sports anime as well in the last 2 years I've really taken off with because it's the same idea. I think they're both offshoots of the shonen genre, but really cool ones. And this was definitely the first non-sports, non-fighting shonen I've watched, and I really enjoyed the ride. Recommendation for me.
You can't force a recommendation out of me. This one was a little... I didn't really enjoy this show at all throughout any of it. It felt cheap, and it definitely had a sense of satire going throughout the entire thing, making fun of shonen genre, and I think it's trying to make fun of Kill la Kill, because it was very similar to Kill la Kill. But it's weird to make a satire of a satire, and it just felt like it got so over the top that it lost itself, especially near the end, into what it was making fun of. It became its own beast.
I didn't actually consider that it was really parodying Kill la Kill, especially.
I never.
I definitely think it took a lot of shonen tropes, and that was very, very intentional. But I don't necessarily think they were making fun of it. I could see some places where they could have been, but I don't know. I'm a personal lover of Kill la Kill, though, so I didn't really see that at all here. But and disclaimer, I didn't get to the end, so I wouldn't know quite how over the top it gets. But I would highly recommend this show based on what I've watched, and this is coming from someone who doesn't usually watch a lot of shonen whatsoever. The first time I tried to watch this, I was turned off by the first 2 episodes. Moving past that, it does get a lot better, which is what I was told and what I have come to realize for myself. So it's a recommendation from me.
I should have given that disclaimer. Real quick. So, I should have noted that the author of Food Wars, before writing Food Wars, was a hentai mangaka. He decided that he didn't feel like drawing hentai anymore, and instead decided to draw a food fighting anime. Now, or manga. Now he still kind of drew a good bit of hentai, specifically in the first few chapters / episodes for the anime. Once you get past the first 2 episodes, it slows down some, and once you get past the 5th one, most hentai shots are just taken out of the show, which is
Etchy. But
Yeah,
etchy shots. Sorry, etchy shots.
I
there's a
would
little bit.
No, there is. You're right. You're right. It's just
I would definitely say it
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
totally stop, but it got a lot less like
it was.
extravagant per se. Like they'd still make the like basically orgasming noises, but a lot of the super lewdness disappears.
Yeah, it seems like it was more for fun than for like actual. Sorry.
We know what you're talking
Service,
about.
fan service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on to me.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'd say I'd recommend it. It's very. What the others said about it being like it taking like shonen tropes. It is very shonen. There's a main character. You kind of follow him throughout his journey, in this new school, and like, you see him. He basically picks fights a lot, right? Like, that's the entire maybe first half. He just picks fights, and he has the personality of a typical shonen protagonist, very hot-headed, very very like rash and kind of confident. I should probably put the disclaimer first. I read the manga like way before the show started, so my opinion might be colored by it. It was a lot of fan service in the other sense of the fan service for me. But like, it's I always do this. I go on a tangent and I can't finish.
Come on, you're almost there.
But yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone who enjoys the typical shonen thing. You know, very vague.
No, it sums it up pretty well. Especially if you enjoyed like the old '90s battle shonen. I think is how I like to describe this. Someone who liked, for example, '90s battle shonen like Yu Yu Hakusho. This is very different, and yet the battles kind of feel in the same vein of every single battle has over-the-top reasoning and results for no apparent reason, and the crowd treats it like it's life or death no matter what. It's the food version of the Dark
entire
Tournament
show
to me.
treats it like it's life or death no matter
Every
what.
time. Every time. It's wonderful. All right. And a quick rundown of characters before we go into the spoiler section, just base tropes. You have them all, but a little bit different. A little bit different, which I prefer. Two that I had in my head specifically that matter. You have Soma, the main character that Allan described. You also have Megumi. I would say the main female protagonist, one of the two main female protagonists. Shy comes off initially worthless. She's that trope to a T. The adorable girl who doesn't do much.
And like sweet as molasses, like disgusting, like can do no wrong, like no imperfection, and she does everything for the good of humankind, and everyone just shits on her left and right, yet she still smiles in the end.
All right.
It's a little sickening.
Can I add just one thing though? It often goes into kind of like her thought process where she's pretty much railing on everyone else, and I did like that about her a lot. Like, she thinks mean things, but she doesn't
does not
say them. And so I appreciated that little extra bit to that trope.
You also have I guess both Nikiris, Alice and Arena.
You don't really meet Alice until like pretty
near
far
the
in.
end. Yeah, I suppose so. You have Arena from the beginning, the god tongue, she who tastes the best.
And I mean, she's kind of the big villain per se, right?
Kind of, sorta. She has a thing against our main character for mostly no reason, and it just kind of sticks forever. And I also want to bring in Takumi Aldini, an Italian exchange student of sorts, who serves as the main rival for our character. And the show knows that he is a rival and just has him spout like Gary Oak, like any Pokemon rival, anything they would say, he will say out loud and is called out on it every single time.
On the topic of him, is there a dub out yet for this?
I don't know that there is.
Because this kid
I can
just
check really quickly.
he oozes Sunahara to me. Like he
Oh,
looks
yes.
like Sunahara.
Please.
Like if he does not sound like, if he does not have Sunahara's voice actor when Funimation does it, like they're doing something wrong.
No,
I think
would
it
love
is
that.
dubbed.
Is it?
Yes, there
Yeah.
is a dub.
Oh,
Well, I'm
wow,
gonna
I never even
find
knew
out
that. All right,
Actually, I'm just gonna.
just check that right now. While you do that, we've given characters in the base description and our recommendations. So based on that, if you want to watch the show, pause the video, leave the stream, whatever, and come back to us when you're done. We'll still be here. We'll be waiting. Twitch.tv/WeTaku. You probably shouldn't do this live. Or YouTube.com/WeTaku if you want to just go and come back to us later. So, with all that in mind, let's move into the spoiler section. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to spoilers. As always, we're going to start off with one important question: who was best girl? I have a feeling on who Thomas's wasn't, but
Best girl. I would actually So I actually really like the main character. However, I really liked Marui, the glasses guy that just gets
Yes.
like killed
Marui's
slowly
fantastic.
throughout the entire show. He gets gaunt, then he turns into a ghost, and then a zombie because he comes back to life, and then he turns into a ghost again, and then he somehow triumphs in the end. So
Kinda, sorta.
yeah,
Again, I didn't get all the way through, but from what I saw, Takumi Adeni's brother, I can't remember his name, but like the big guy,
Yeah.
he would
yeah.
always just sit there and laugh at his brother's pain. And then when he's cooking, he gets so into it, like his eyes glow, he looks so evil. Oh, it's just so good. I loved him so much. But I liked most of the characters in this show a lot.
You can actually see his eyes glowing in the overlay.
Oh yeah, fun fact, our overlay has cut out the main character. But on the
Yep.
bright side, you have both Nakiri's, the meat girl, the younger Aldini, the older one is also cut off, and Megumi. So you know what? You don't need Soma or Takumi at all. They're not important characters.
In case you weren't aware, you said meat girl, they call her Nikumi. Niku means meat in Japanese, so
Yep.
that's the joke. Yeah.
she
Just
no,
for
she is
those who
just
didn't
meat.
know.
It's fantastic.
Her name is Ikumi, but they called her Nikumi because meat.
Right.
It's pretty great.
I really like Alice, and this might be the like manga talking. I really like her personality. She's very playful and like friendly, but at the same time really threatening. And like you really can't tell which, like ever.
I'll give it to you. I think you don't get playful as much until a little bit later, but
Yeah.
as far as the show's concerned, I could definitely tell that they were going that direction. It just felt like they didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
Honestly.
it should be noted that as Allan talked about it, I didn't mention it. I'm caught up with the manga. The difference between us is he read the manga first. I actually, the moment season 1 finished, I just kind of kept going. So, it should be that. Yeah, I don't think you get too much playful out of Alice until later, but she gets pretty incredible. Not if you watch season 2 of the anime, where they take away all of Alice's character traits and just do a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they took away all two of them?
Big disclaimer.
Yeah.
Only the top half of the screen has seen the second season, and both of us don't really recommend it.
No, don't do that thing.
Okay.
We're only,
Good to
we are currently just talking about the first season, and the second season was. Anywho. So. On top of that, I guess I haven't thrown a shout out my best girl yet. And Thomas is gonna stab me, but hey, I'm nothing if not generic, so definitely Megumi. I love Megumi. The face,
Hey,
that's all I needed. That's all
I'm
I
on
needed in
your
my life.
side, Javon. I
No.
loved her.
Sure, she's sweet and innocent, just she can't do no wrong, and I'm okay with that, first off. But second off, I really enjoy her evolution from a worthless character to somebody who, in the end, because I think that last arc really is, it's her shining moment, where for once she's actually, like, a worthwhile cook on her own by herself. And I think they handled that really well, and I really enjoyed seeing the evolution of Soma's sidekick to, hey, look, she did a thing.
Hey, I didn't even get that far, but I liked her a lot as Soma's sidekick. Like, for a character who's, as far as I got, really her only purpose was to help Soma. Like, she was even a really good character then. And, like I said, she was a trope, but they did well in adding more to it. So it wasn't stale. At least, that's my opinion. I love Megumi as well.
Listen, Megumi is... She's a waifu outside of this show, even. I love her a lot. Thomas, please don't hurt me. The face help.
Oh man,
All
the
right.
shoulders.
Oh god, it's bouncing. The computer's back. Help! Oh no. He's caused an earthquake. So, quick rundown of the arcs of the show before we start discussing them. The show begins with an introduction to Soma. He saves his dad's restaurant. They have a small suburban restaurant just in Japan. He saves it from some people trying to buy it out for like corporate land by cooking them a meal, and all their clothes fly off. Like, not much else to say there.
Yeah, regarding that, apparently this Japan food rules the world.
Yes.
So if you like say you're gonna do something, and then have a food contest, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, no. If you win a food contest, your word is law.
They didn't really do a good job explaining that, but
No,
it's a
it's
rule
kind
of
of
the
picked it
school.
up after a while.
It's a rule of the school that they do.
Yeah, but
explain.
like it follows through to the real world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. If you play a card game and you win, does that person really have to give up anything or like die or sent to the Shadow Realm or anything? All I'm saying is it's the crux of any shonen BS theme is that BS theme will rule the universe no matter what it is. Whether that's food, whether that's card games, basketball.
I don't know.
Whatever
I
it
think
has.
I think it makes enough sense. Like even that first bit in the that first.
The food was so good they just
cook-off.
surrendered.
Yeah, well, not that, but it's like beforehand they make a bet, and most people are gonna honor a bet. Like I think that's reasonable enough.
Fair enough.
So
After that, you have Soma entering the school, meeting Arena, who hates him for no discernible reason whatsoever forever.
It's because he's a commoner.
Yeah, but everyone's a commoner to her.
that's very true.
Does she like particularly like anybody?
Touche. Not untrue.
Well, her assistant.
Her assistant. She likes her assistant. That's fair. She likes her assistant a lot. More than might be healthy. I'm
Oh man, I wish I could like show the screenshots.
Oh, just so many. They are beautiful together. After that, we have just Soma's adventures through school where he picks fights with literally everyone, most notably Nikumi and one teacher. After that, it's camp time! In the camp, it's a series of trials, tribulations, judged by ex-students who went on to become the greatest chefs in the history of the universe, because that's how that school works. And after that, it's just the final run. The first half of a tournament. And that's really where it ends, because...
Wait, really? The first
Yeah.
half of a
Yeah,
tournament?
it's really,
Correct.
it's really bad. Like the ending is so bad.
Ending sucks.
And like, like we said, season 2 doesn't do it justice.
Season 2 is the other half of that tournament, except not.
Yeah, it's like Psychopath setting you up for that like cliffhanger, and then like season 2 comes around, and you're like, I might as well not have watched season 2. Like I
So
was fine with the cliffhanger.
So this is
Oh,
when I
that's like the
start
best
reading
sequel.
manga.
Correct. That's what I did, and I don't regret a moment of it. Yeah, but the show does end. That is a big point. The show does end on the end of the first round of a tournament.
It's really bad.
Yeah. But let's talk before that real fast. Something I want to actually bring up before we get into the actual plot is just the food. Because there's a huge focus on the food here, and it'd be really, really sad if we didn't actually talk about it.
The food works.
The food works. It can be eaten. This guy, like, he might have been a hentai ecchi artist, but, like, he did his food research. It all works. There are plenty of people who have posted recipes online, and the actual Food Wars wiki, if you ever look at it, has recipes for any meal that they can find online from the show. And Allan and I have actually cooked 2 of the recipes. Fake pork roast, or the gotcha pork roast.
Oh,
I
God,
really
that-
want to try that.
That was
That
so
was
heavy.
fantastic.
Oh my
It
god.
was so heavy. My
I
God.
can
I mean,
imagine.
it was good, but like we just like laid down for a bit after that.
It's
like, all right,
literally
it-
potatoes wrapped in bacon. Like, what do you expect?
The sauce is also really heavy.
Oh,
my lord,
okay.
it was incredible.
Alright.
I want to make
It
that
was
again.
really good, but oh
I
my
really
God.
want to try that one. I almost looked up a recipe. I figured I would later, but like, I
You could
really want to
making
try it.
again.
Yeah. I
Anyhow,
definitely want to.
what was the other?
We also and I've made this 3 times. The first and third worked out pretty well. The second time I got the wrong cut of meat. Was the Dawn he cooked against the steak Chablon Dawn that he cooked against Nikumi, which
See-
is a super simple recipe. And as it turns out, yeah, no, onions tenderize meat, especially if you cut it first. Who'da
Yeah.
thunk?
First half of the show, that is the message they try to drill into your brain. The 3 things that tenderize meat, that break down proteins. You got honey, you got onions, and you got that other one that I can't remember because I didn't give a shit.
Meat tenderizes in many ways. It's beautiful. No, but I just
pineapple.
pineapple.
Oh
does this
yeah,
thing.
pineapple.
Pineapple's great.
Recipes work. They are fantastic, and I know, Thomas, you were complaining about animation because there wasn't a lot of movement. I'm going to say that was okay, because you know what there were? Shots of
Stills.
anime food. Lots of stills of anime food. And it all looks incredible. It's the same as watching a cooking show, where I would always get hungry and just want to cook after watching an episode.
The
I
stills
will say
were.
they did a good job.
There were a lot of stills when they were cooking, and sometimes they were replaced with really slow motion. Like sometimes what he would be doing is either like chopping or like stirring something, and you could basically see the frames. But
Yeah.
like, it still works. It's still like really flashy, and it still, you know, contributes to the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't have, I don't know that they had the budget to just throw at like making this show look incredible like with movements, but I think they did a good job enough with the stills, and I'll save the word camera angles for later,
So-
I think.
Yeah, can I springboard off of that now?
Go
Steven
for it,
got triggered
friends.
by the camera angles.
So,
So hard.
as I mentioned earlier, I don't really watch a lot of shonen, and I think Javon, you can chip in. Like, if this is a thing with like shonen in general or just this show? Camera angles for me in this show kind of made me sick at times, which is very, very rare for me. But like, it would say put someone on the screen, their head is just tilted this way specifically, and then it'll do a very sharp cut, like no transition at all, to another character like this. Like their head is tilted in that direction.
It happens.
It
They do it in
It
quick
usually happens in
succession.
the more intense scenes in other shonen.
It also happens in intense scenes where not a lot is like physically going on, or when a lot is physically going on, but they can't animate the whole thing, so it's done in stills often.
Okay,
Nothing is ever a straight shot because
Thomas, please.
it's boring.
so I mean, I get that it's boring, but I still think it's quite a cheap way to try to make something look animated that isn't.
oh yeah,
I think
no, for
there
sure,
are certainly better ways of doing it. And when it's so like I can understand just kind of like a slight tilt, but like this is really drastic. And it really threw me off. Specifically, it was the episode where they introduced Takumi Aldini. That episode did it a lot, and I started legitimately feeling sick watching it. And I realized I was like kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I'm like,
If you can get through the Monogatari series, you can get through this.
I have not watched that. I want to, but I want to.
You're
Or
gonna
I
get
want to,
sick.
but I haven't.
You're gonna get
Pretty
sick a
though,
lot.
because it
Fair
also
enough.
has like they pay attention to like what's in a frame and like how to frame shots and stuff. But this is just kind of like throwing shit at you. Like in the last episode, they were just like there's stuff in the bottom and then the top, and you can't really see what's going on in the middle. But
Yeah.
you know, there's like pretending to be movement, and like you just get all these streaks across it, but it's really just 2 characters, and they're like, just like sliding across the frame very slowly.
Yeah, I agree
To
with
get
that.
rid of
Like,
all that.
I think I mean I've seen scenes from Monogatari, and I think they're very deliberate in everything they do. Like with as Thomas said, framing it and everything. With this show, and again possibly just a thing with shonen, it feels very just kind of lazy, and like they just tried to make it look animated.
I think part of that as well is the fact that this is a show about 2 people standing at opposite sides of a counter cooking at each other.
I'm not saying
You can't make that interesting. No, you're right. But no, you're absolutely right.
Oh,
But there's a reason transitioning to the manga is so easy for this show, is that there is no movement to speak of that matters.
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
A lot of those like frames are taken from the manga. Like a lot of the switching perspectives. It's
Yeah.
a lot
I can
easier
see
when you're
that.
reading the manga. And I
I
guess
can
I
see
didn't.
that.
I may not have had a problem just because I read the manga first, but like.
For me, I guess because I read the manga so much afterwards, it almost feels like this anime is a watchable manga as opposed to like a full animation, just due to the fact that there isn't going to be a lot of motion here. There can't be. I know like we always want full animation for everything to look perfect. I don't know that it would add to the show. It might actually detract because it gets boring sometimes.
Well, to what I think an interesting direction that it could have gone, and I'm not saying this is the right way that it should have gone,
Sure.
but something different would have been the fact that they like go into their minds and like shows the flavor, and like it kind of lost that toward the end, but like how it showed how the honey like attacked the person and like just fell all over
Oh.
him as
Oh.
per Allan's
Those
picture.
shots.
Like if they could have done something more like introduce this world where like as they're cooking you like see them establishing this castle of food, and then like the soldiers made out of cheese run at each other like with like
I actually would have really loved that because you
Yeah.
get those
Yeah.
shots when somebody eats it, but I would have loved to see those shots as it was cooked as
And
well.
it's one
Yeah.
of the. It's one of those. I think that actually does happen, somewhat more. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't
Um,
ever go away, but like it doesn't do the same thing. And I think that's part of like the manga. The manga. I think the manga just sort of went away from that a little bit.
Reaction shots are, and you see it at the end too of this anime. To not just talk about the manga, during the final tournament, Hayama versus Soma. We're gonna cut to the very last fight. Um, you see it the moment where they're talking about the two different flavors, and you have Soma with the brass knuckles and Hayama with the spear. And for some reason, you just have the shot of them, and it's not a very well animated shot. And that one specifically is one of the worst animated shots in the entire show. Is all I'm gonna say. But you get the idea of before their food's even been cooked, and then once their food has been cooked, and then the judges are thinking about it, you get shots of them like putting on the weapons and then like trying to kill each other with them, which is, I mean, while not amazingly animated, it's kind of a shot of things to come where the show goes, where it's not so much about the reaction shots anymore, it's more about the chef shots.
and boy those reaction shots.
Let's have a
Holy
discussion.
cow.
Blue.
That's like if you've seen like Naruto or JoJo's and they're like, whoa, they just used this and this and this and this, and they just like happen to have this encyclopedic knowledge of like everything, which is I mean I guess understandable if they're all cooks, but still it's a little weird when everyone's just like, oh, they used asparagus. Ah!
Actually, I was gonna bring this up. Like, it was in my head as one point to bring up. I actually love that about this show. I thought it worked. I thought that was one shonen trope that worked extremely well in a cooking contest at a school where, like, so they're in this arena cooking. Everyone there attends this school. They know their stuff. So it's like, and like the whole thing with Soma is his dishes are supposed to be super creative. So, I mean, this wasn't like a specific thing from it, but when they're like, oh, he used honey to tenderize the meat, it's like that's not something most people think of, and like I think it's really interesting, and I think it just works really well for this show in reality.
That trope never dies.
I loved the comparison to JoJo's. Wait, because at first my reaction was, wait, no, nothing's the same to JoJo's, and I'm actually watching JoJo's right now, right? And I realized, wait, no, it's exactly like JoJo's. I mean, almost exactly. Like, the same sparkle shots and all. Like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, this is like Soma's Bizarre Cooking Adventure, because those same, like, explanations, descriptions, if you like JoJo's and the way they describe, like, how they're using the ham on or anything like that, or the stands, it's the exact same way done. Everything's explained the exact same way by, like, the same types of experts.
Okay, also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the main character. And so, like, as a character, he's not bad. He really isn't. And he's not, like, so rough and tough and, like, oh, I'm gonna, like, attack everyone. It's really, like, everyone picks fights with him because, like, he has a bit of a big mouth, and in the entrance ceremony, he's like, I'm gonna be number one, and Naruto's.
I can be the next Hokage.
Yeah, right. And everyone's like, "Oh, sure, dude," and then he's probably gonna become it. Anyway, the fact is that he's a cool character, and he has like the cool dynamic with his dad, where they have to be the best or the worst, and it can't be anywhere in between. And the fact that when he cooks, this is the only thing that bothered me. When he cooks, like, it doesn't really go into like some sort of strategic chess match where like, oh, if they're going to use pineapple, then what's going to come after that? We're going to need something bitter to like counteract the sweetness of the pineapple, and we need it to be mellowed down. So we're going to use spinach here. Like, it's none of that. It's like they're just like throwing shit at you, and I just felt like every time I was watching him cook a new thing, I was like, oh, now what's Soma going to pull out of his ass? Because it's going to be something crazy, something like, I know it's somewhat interesting, but it gets old, and he always wins. And he's always going to win. But, I mean, maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is to show the Megumi as she
No,
develops.
that is the point. Soma
It's
winning is the point.
It's shonen.
But I'm going to counter that real fast, because he loses twice. Exactly twice, over 24 episodes.
One of those reasons was not because he lost, and the other reason was because of two judges. They, in the writing, intentionally made it so that his loss wasn't a fair loss, because one of them, his hands were tied and he couldn't actually help, and then the other, it was because two judges absolutely loved this character and three judges loved Soma instead. Yet the two judges rated higher than the three judges, and still it's pretty much a tie either way. And I just feel like it's bullshit that they couldn't just let their main character lose, in a real way. It really dampened the effect.
I believe the reason for that is there's not much better you can get at cooking in this world. You can, if you're Megumi, it's not so much that you ever improved as a chef, it's that you improved as a person that allowed you to use your skills to their fullest extent. But in Food Wars, nobody gets better than their base state. Soma's already the best. He starts off the show as the best. He ends the show as tied / kind of second-ish place-ish for the best.
Yeah,
but he kind of ties because... That's the thing. For this show, that is a loss because you can't have somebody outright better than you because you'll never beat them. Because your base state is where you're going to be forever, essentially, his losses have to be, this person was on par with me, and that's a loss. Soma's supposed to win everything, and by not winning, even a tie counts as a loss in that show. It's only... that's way too far in the manga, it's not worth talking about. But, for all intents and purposes, a tie is a loss for Food Wars, because... you're never going to be able to see a skill gap that can be breached.
I see where Thomas is coming, because it does feel like Soma wins way more than he probably should.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
It just makes it so that each win doesn't feel as good.
It's how is Soma gonna win, not is Soma gonna win.
Yeah, it's not so much like you're necessarily cheering Soma on, cheering him on. You want to know what's gonna happen, what he's gonna make more than anything.
Right. I just
how
think,
does he pull this out?
It's still a feeling that you get when you watch the show. Sure, you look forward to how he wins, but you kind of it could be better if if there was actually any suspense as to whether or not he will win.
It's the John Cena or Goku kind of thing.
Go ahead. Sorry. Well, I can see where you guys are coming from, but I'm kind of with Javon because I think it was very clearly laid out in the beginning, very plainly stated. Soma's the best. He's the best, and he's always going to be the best. The opening ceremony, he's like, yeah, so I'm the best guy here, just so you know.
And he is.
And and that's not an understatement. And I kind of like that they didn't try to play that off as an understatement. I like that he's the best, personally. Though I do see where you guys are coming from.
It's the difference between people who, let's say you're a wrestling fan and you cheer for John Cena. Never in any match ever has anybody thought, Hey, will John Cena beat his opponent? Because of course he beats his opponent. It's written that he always he's John Cena. He's the Superman of wrestling, right? He never loses. But John Cena's like not everyone's favorite wrestler, right? A lot of people, like Tom Snallen, would prefer to have a main character that, oh man, I wonder if they're going to win. Can they pull it out? Especially when the stakes are cooking and you can actually lose without dying or, breaking something horrible. So I think that's a difference in like the kind of person you are. If you're okay with somebody just being the outright best and just watching them be the best, if you're a John Cena fan, then
If you like
Soma's
the
great.
Name of the Wind, go ahead.
The wind. If you really like Goku, then here we are, Goku cooking Goku. If you prefer characters who actually have to struggle to win, or like, sometimes they lose, sometimes they win, you never really know. I'm not 100% sure what you're doing in the shonen genre, to be completely honest.
Yeah, fair
But
enough. Like, it is
Naruto
something really
loses.
present.
Even Naruto loses.
I would argue Naruto's the only one who loses.
Didn't Bleach have a lot of losses in the beginning?
I tried to purge my mind from Bleach for a lot, so if that's true, then fair enough.
No,
I never
actually,
watched.
I don't think that's true. Never mind.
Even
Because-
Goku loses. Even Goku loses.
Goku doesn't lose. Ever.
He lost against Vegeta the first time they fought.
He
And
still won.
couldn't-
He was like crippled afterwards, but he won. He even ties Cell and then quits. He never loses. Goku doesn't lose. Ever. The entire Buu saga is Goku could have won at any point and then chose not to because he wanted everybody else to have a shot. Like, no. No, that's a shonen character. That's a shonen main character for you. They're just outright the best.
I think if you compare it to something like a sports anime, though, which, at least on this show, we've often considered a kind of spin-off of shonen.
Yeah.
Sports anime is it needs to have loss because the sports anime are about teamwork. These teams need to learn how to come together better, and it's really still not so much about skill, and that's like Shokugeki no Soma. It's not necessarily about skill. It's about back to sports anime. It's about the team coming together, forming their own bonds, and becoming better as a team.
But how many times can a sports anime team lose? Once. Twice at most, but generally once.
Yeah.
I'd say it also-
It's something that's
I
bothered me about this, this genre for a while.
I say it also depends how far the anime runs.
No.
much-
It's still, even really long ones, it's still maybe once or twice.
Like 3 times at
Yeah.
most
Like,
in the entire run.
it's really prevalent.
If I'm
That's
not
what-
mistaken, in Haikyuu they lost twice in the first season. I can't really remember, but I'm fairly certain.
I know he
So I'm
loses
like-
a couple times in Prince of Tennis.
Yeah, Prince of Tennis is like eternal.
But the thing, I'm just saying, if you're looking at shonen as shonen is one thing. We are looking at Shokugeki no Soma, which is technically still a different thing, and then sports anime are also a different thing. So there are these specific things that make them different, and so I think with sports anime, you need to have that loss, and then it's about teamwork. Shokugeki no Soma, it's already about being the best. It's just how will you win this time? Whereas shonen anime can often be about gaining more power. Like Dragon Ball is constantly going up in level of Super Saiyan. So
the thing about
yeah.
the problem with this sort of storytelling is in order the losses that are introduced in the story, there can't be a lot, because that also gets tired, and it gets a lot more annoying when the main character loses than if they just win all the time.
Can't talk big if you always lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that, at least that's what I think is the reason why there are very few losses in almost all shonen in general. But it also just makes it so that they always win all the time, and that's also not necessarily the greatest thing.
There's a delicate balance.
It is one of
Yeah.
those things that it's just personal taste. But
That said,
I think
I actually want to push this a little bit further because Thomas, you said something earlier about the fact that like every loss is downplayed in Shokugeki. I want to talk about the fact that while every other character in their eyes, it was downplayed the same way it was like to the viewer, like, oh, it was like only a sort of loss. His hands were tied. Oh no, the judges liked him. It's just, the points weren't in his favor. And I want to talk about how Soma takes those losses because I think that's a lot of his character and like what we saw with him, and a lot of the character development we get from Soma. Is that both times, even though like to us they're like minor losses, his world crashes down, right? At least for a little bit, and you see it come later.
That's part of the reason why I said I like Soma. Like I do. I just don't like the author. I'm not,
it's just something. It's just a shonen.
It's like the world is tailored around.
Yeah.
The best way I can put it is that it's just a shonen thing.
It's just a shonen.
I think what it boils down to is if you don't like shonen, you probably won't like this show.
No, not a chance.
But I do personally think that him being all powerful, like the god of cooking, basically, I really think that's the point. And it's established from the beginning. So
yeah.
He'll eventually run into, I think, an unstoppable barrier when he has to fight his dad. But until then, no, he's the best. Speaking of which, Soma's dad just kind of shows up every so often, maybe once actually.
Yeah, he only shows up twice during the entire first season, I think. It's
Yeah,
at the beginning and then like once
in the middle.
more. Yeah, sometime in the middle.
And he just shows up to establish, hey, I'm infinitely better than Soma in every way by.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's also more
That's
handsome.
actually an interesting dynamic when you think about it. The like big villain is his dad in a way. Like if again
The goal
kind
to
of
reach.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's another reminder that while Soma wins everything against his peers, there is still another level that he has to reach. But for the life of me, in this show, the way they've established powering, I don't know how he's going to reach it. At some point, you can't, but we'll see where it goes.
I mean, he learned everything he knows from his dad, basically. So
Well, not just that. It's a comment Soma makes at the end after he loses ties to Hayama is like it was a piece of knowledge that caught him off guard. And he just needs more knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like at some point, you can't just be like, all right, and then Soma studied every single textbook, and now he's the best chef ever. So I'm reading the manga now, and I have like almost an idea of where it goes, but not quite, because I do want to know how, like with that time frame, with that frame for their universe, I kind of want to know how he levels up because it hasn't really happened, to be honest.
I mean, if I can just bring up one thing that I don't know how far the manga has gone, haven't seen even the end of this, but his dad traveled the world cooking, and that's how he learned so much, which he then taught to Soma, like the I can't remember what the donburi steak. That was like a French.
Yeah.
That was like a French concept, I think.
It really shows a lot in his cooking because like almost all of the twists that he puts on are from like different countries. Like when he made the fish in the beginning, I don't remember. Like when he first got to the dorm.
Fried the fish, yeah.
Yeah, the fried.
Or
fish.
no, the tuna patty.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of actually.
Yeah, he like uses a. It's French, isn't it?
It was a French frying.
Yeah.
A lot of what he does is actually just French, but we're gonna say worldwide.
But yeah, I mean, what I'm going for there is that's how his dad leveled up. His dad traveled the world, learned all these different recipes cooking in high-end restaurants. So I don't necessarily know that Soma will do that, but it seems that that is at least what separates him from his father.
I swear it's just going to be the power of friendship.
Megumi just cheers him on a lot.
Yep. No, please. On the bright side, I don't see this show going there, ever. I want to talk for a second, though, also about just the two arcs. That's, I think, the two final arcs, the camp and the tournament, both which were just kind of a form of tournament. The characters that are introduced there, the judges from the camp. I just want to get your guys' opinions there, who they were, how they were, and like the fact that they were just kind of snapshots of the future for the main cast in some way. I think just that these are the most successful people the Academy's ever produced. Here they are, they're back, and like some of them are the same as Soma and gang, relaxed, ready to cook, but they don't really care. Others are a little more intense, a la Shiomi. Or
Like,
not Shiomi, the French guy.
More like the Elite 10, probably.
Yeah, more like the Elite 10.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, like, because I really do think that these guys are a snapshot for the future of, like, this crew, or at least they're meant to be. Where the similarities, differences, or, like, are they just proof of, like, hardships that our characters are going to face later and turn them into these things? I don't know.
I'll just go ahead and say I didn't finish it all the way, so I don't have much to say here.
The
Sorry
other
about
two.
that.
I feel like just like the girl that wouldn't give above a 0, I think it was in the second to last episode or so.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
I thought she was interesting, and then the super gaunt guy that like gets buff at that one point. I thought those were the only really interesting characters. The judges. Another problem that is common in all shonen and that resurfaces here, and I think they tried to like remedy it but didn't. The characters, they just bombard you with them. They're character. You only need to know 5 of their names for there to be any meaning.
Yeah.
Like everyone else falls in the background. Like it's so diluted, and no one has enough time for real characterization except for like the main character's rival and.
As far as like the judges and the like all the adults go, when they name them, it's to make them feel important. Like they've accomplished things and you're supposed to respect them. Like
Which is fine, but I'm just saying, like, also, I guess you also get a couple of, you get the guy who headed the camp and then the guy who went to France.
I think the problem Thomas is talking about really shows with the rest, like the supporting cast that lives, let's say, that lives in the dorm, right?
The Polar Express gang.
The Polar Express gang. the Polar Star dorm. You have Megumi and Soma, and you know what? I'll even add perpetually naked Elite 10 member.
Dude,
I don't know his name. He's
characters that matter.
His name is Ishiki. He was going to be my face, but they said it was too lewd.
We were gonna get kicked off Twitch. So those 3, they matter as the Polar Star. Unfortunately, Polar Star has like 10 members, and although 8 of them compete in the final rounds of the tournament, or in the tournament round that we saw, and they all try to get their own characterization there. And I mean, like, it succeeded for some of them. Marui, for example, they did pretty well with him. Yeah. But for others, like the derp girl who shoots things, or the girl who fertilizes a lot, or the guy who smokes things.
The girl with the buns, that felt so shoehorned, her characterization.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
None of them felt like they mattered. None of them felt like one thing I appreciated is that all of them felt like they were there to try to win. They didn't acknowledge that they were just side characters there to lose for the main characters to win. They did react well when they lost. Like, well, by well I mean they reacted very poorly and were very unhappy about it.
I thought their reactions were pretty good.
Yeah, I appreciated that, but they themselves as characters never got nearly enough time for me to care about them, other than the fact that, like, oh, I wish you weren't sad right now, but whatever.
In a big way, I kind of thought, at least as far as I thought they were kind of just there for those reaction shots. Because, like, the face-off against Nikumi, like, the entire Polar Star group, they're the ones, narrating it. It's, like, not just Megumi, it's the entire gang. So it's like, I don't know. It felt like they were kind of weak and just there for that purpose. But, and yeah, I can imagine even getting the characterization later in. It wouldn't be sufficient.
It's not.
Yeah. There are a lot of unnecessary characters, I think.
Like, I at first thought, like, when they introduced the blonde guy and the dark-haired guy that were super buff and, like, had this little bro thing going.
Oh, yeah, those guys
hey,
don't matter at all.
This is gonna go somewhere.
No.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Hey, would you like to? All right.
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
It feels like they wrote Takumi in to be the rival, but then he kind of like fucked up and made him too derpy. So they made Hayama to be the more threatening and actual rival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I do wish. I wish a lot of the side characters had gotten a lot more time, including Takumi. But at least he got something. Some of the Polar Star characters, the most. I think they got.
Can I
nothing.
ask how it was with the manga? Pretty similar in that
It's
regard.
the exact same.
It's
okay.
like that.
They don't get.
Yeah.
They don't matter.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. You're saying the blonde guy you were saying got too derpy that you wanted him to be the rival?
No,
no.
He
Not
was
that
probably
blonde guy.
supposed to be the rival, like originally.
The Italian blonde guy.
Yeah, but then
Okay,
the
gotcha.
spice guy, like they messed him up, so they made the spice guy.
Yeah, he felt like he just came out of thin air. Like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
what do we need? What do we need? And
New rivals.
Oh.
This guy.
yeah, like they just drew some
Uh.
sticks and were like,
He has a good nose,
He carries cinnamon around.
All right then.
threateningly. He carries
Yeah.
cinnamon
Interesting.
around threateningly.
No, I agree wholeheartedly that he especially needed more time for me to care about him as a rival, which kind of made Soma losing or tying feel lame.
Yeah.
But
Is there anything else we want to bring up, or is it time to wrap up? I'm not sure, but
I wanted to mention briefly, just the fact that back to his like failure, right? Someone's failure. We'll look over the fact that he didn't really fail, but so he had the failure, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Are you talking about the
Hanako
last one or
girl-
the middle one?
during the breakfast scene, so in the middle, yeah.
Okay.
Where she like goes up to him and she's like, "Hey, what happened?" And he's like, "Well, I learned from my mistakes." And she's like, "You know, mistakes are never supposed to be made." And it's like, what do you come? Okay, like I understand, like trying to make her as evil as possible, but that's not human. Like humans learn from mistakes. That's like how we got to be where we are. If we didn't make mistakes, we couldn't evolve. Like
But you
evolution
see,
is mistakes. Come
no,
on.
but you're not talking to a human. You're talking to the god tongue.
Like she
Also-
wants robots to
Yeah.
rule the world
Yep.
or
God tongue.
something.
also even
Hundreds
think
of
about
gods.
God Tongue in the first. I think it was okay, the second episode.
It's the second
Uh,
episode.
yeah, she like I don't like your food. You're expelled. Like that's what this show is. Again, it's established from the beginning. So
No,
like I
but-
can't be upset
no.
about it happening.
I can be upset about her characterization a little bit, I think, because she's a wall to get past for the sake of being a wall to get past, I think, a lot of the time.
I can understand being upset about her characterization, but I meant being upset about the fact that it
She isn't really.
That she
kind of-
demands perfection.
culminates in a like no mistakes can be made, because this show has established no mistakes can be made at this school or you get expelled immediately.
She isn't even really like that much of a problem after the first third, really.
I
Yeah.
guess that's fair.
Yeah.
She just kind of watches the rest, but she
Yeah.
watches it angrily.
And another thing, the fact that like she pulled out the picture of the dad, they'd probably go into it for the manga and
Not for
season
another
two.
like 100.5
Yeah.
chapters.
Oh
It's
my God.
stupid. Like it's
Yeah.
like, oh wow, look, we have this connection. Let's never talk about it
We're
again.
really only getting into it now. Like the
I'm
past
still not
couple
100%
months.
sure about it, to be completely
Sounds
honest.
like Attack on Titan with the key to the basement.
Give it
Yeah,
like
it's just
another
dumb. I don't
month and a
care
half, and I think
anymore.
we'll know.
Like it's too far gone.
I
don't
honestly,
care.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot about that. Like
Yeah,
when
they
it
bring
happened
it
in
up.
the manga, I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, it's that was dumb. That was dumb, worthless, and years later, reading the manga, we're gonna find out in a few months. So hey,
Oh well.
Little American flags on my, or one's a Japanese flag, I guess, on my fingers.
all right. I think with all that in mind, it's time to go into final thoughts and recommendations. We've given our recommendations at the beginning. We'll see if any of them changed. I think, spoiler warning, they didn't this time. For me, if you're a fan of shonen, and you're okay with all those ridiculous tropes, and they are ridiculous, mind you, but you also want something that plays with those tropes, makes them a little bit different, and just has a good time with it, I think Soma is a fantastic show. If you're also somebody who likes to cook, which I am, and somebody who just wants, if you're a fan of watching things on the Food Network, this is the anime version of that.
Oh.
And
Oh yeah.
after every episode, I'd just be like, all right, going down to the kitchen, I'm making a thing. What am I making? I don't know. I guess I'll try to make some fake pork or something. I don't know. It'll be great. It'll be fine. And it's just, I really enjoyed both the fact that this show was a fun subjugation, I guess, of the shonen tropes, but also I just really like cooking shows, and this was the anime version of that, and it was super over the top, and I loved it. So it's a definite recommendation for me.
Iron Chef the anime.
Iron Chef the anime.
Okay. Me next. So, I did actually watch the Food Network as a kid. Not gonna lie. I would recommend this for the same reasons that Jovan said. I think it's it's a very compelling shonen series. So if you do like shonen, if you do like cooking, really, because it is.
They did their research.
Yeah, they did. It's just very. The storytelling in typical shonen fashion is very compelling. It just keeps on moving forward and keeps you in suspense episode after episode. So big recommendation for me. Yeah, I was gonna say something, but then I completely forgot.
Rip.
My opinion's not swayed. I still cannot give a recommendation for this show. If you like,
Time. Pause. Stop. So I just looked at our Twitch chat. Blake the Lord 69 has donated $500. Thanks for the donation, Blake the Lord 69.
What?
what?
Wait. How?
What?
What?
Do we have a donation button? Wait, time
I
out.
don't think. Wait, what?
Is that spam? I'm gonna assume that's
No,
spam.
we can't.
We don't have a donation
I don't
button,
think
I
we
think.
have anywhere to donate to.
How did you do that, Blake?
Oh, what is it? Twitch has like this currency now, I think.
Oh, cheers.
Huh? Oh, cheers.
Wait, but we don't. What? All right. You know what? We're gonna.
I'll investigate.
Thanks, Blake.
this.
Well,
Yeah, we'll investigate that later. But if that's not spam, I guess thanks, Blake. Anywho, Tom, back to you.
thanks a
Sorry.
ton.
Yeah. um.
Okay.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. I
We're
don't
stunned.
Yeah. I don't have a recommendation. I can't give a recommendation for this. I think that it was. If you want a shonen, we've talked about good shonen before. Watch Kaiji. Come on, like that is a good shonen.
Kaiji is fantastic and is better than this. I would argue kind of a seinen,
Yeah.
but fine.
If you want to watch food porn, like you get better stills of real food if on Instagram, Reddit, like come on, like and
Oh, come
they
on.
most
The
likely
food
have
looked pretty
the
good. The actual food
they,
looked pretty
yeah
good.
okay yeah it looks alright, but like at least they had like the little recipe at the
real
end of it.
food
Like they could have at least like
on
at the end of every
Instagram,
episode,
Reddit,
and, like one of the cutaways, like at the end of every credits, like they had the stupid little gags that they would do. Instead of that, just have like here's someone telling us about the recipe, or like
Actually, I
a
would
minor
really like
character, like the two buff dudes. They could have been like, this is the recipe they used in the thing, and look, they would have gotten characterization.
Tom,
Actually, I
why
would
aren't
love
you
that a
writing
lot.
manga?
Yeah, wait, time out. Tom. I want you to walk over there right now and be like, all right, so you're going to get every recipe and you're going to show at the end of the episode, these two guys are going to do it. Go. That,
Oh, man.
I want that now. Thanks a lot, Tom. Not
Yeah,
going to be disappointed forever.
You definitely have a good idea with that one. But yeah, I'm gonna echo Javon and Allan and give it a pretty strong recommendation, especially if you love shonen. And I will say, even if you're not a fan of shonen, but you really, really like cooking or really, really like looking at food, then this is a show for you.
Oh, I remember now. I remember now what I was gonna say. I'm sorry, Steven. Keep on going.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I just definitely think if you're a fan of shonen, it's perfect for you. If you're not too keen on cooking or like hearing about food, or if you're not too keen on the genre, then maybe not. But I do think it's a pretty quality show overall.
I was gonna say, also if you like lewd images, watch the first few episodes.
If you don't like lewd images, hold the first few episodes. You have to watch them anyways, but just hold on because it'll even out pretty fast.
And I'll give an alternate recommendation. If you do like lewd images in food, Senran Kagura Bon Appetit Full Course.
That's a
Amazing
video game.
It's a rhythm game. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Is that a
All
rhythm
right.
cooking game?
It's a rhythm cooking game, and when the guy taste tests the food, the loser's clothes are ripped off. A la first 2 episodes of Shokugeki no Soma. It's literally the same.
All right.
Except you play.
With all that in mind, let's bring it to next week, shall we? Or week after next. We still do this every 2 weeks. Oops.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is a recommendation by Allan. If he hadn't, I would have, and that might have been how we actually ended up with this. Allan, why did you choose Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, the 2014 anime, not the movie?
Okay, yeah, no, not the movie.
Not the movie.
So, me and Jovan are both big Type Moon fans, and I figured, like...
One of the 5.
I figured, like, this would probably be really fitting, but, like, yeah, I just love Fate. I actually love all of Type Moon's properties, but, like, for the longest time, Fate was definitely my favorite. And it might still be, I don't know, kind of on edge about that. But, like, I have watched the anime before, and I think that there's some things that... I think it's a very fan-servicey anime in the sense that, it's definitely for fans, and I wanted to see what Thomas and Steven thought of it, who haven't, like, had much exposure to Fate Stay Night. I'm pretty sure both of you have watched Fate Zero, but...
I watched the original Fate Stay Night and Fate Zero.
Oh, you've watched
Even watching the original Fate Stay Night, it doesn't help that much here.
Yeah.
This is
So-
way better. It's fine, I promise.
Okay, I don't know if I should explain this, but, like...
I think that might be for the beginning of the next one, because the pathway discussion is a long one. But I think the biggest thing here is, Allan and I read the visual novel before watching this anime. You guys haven't, and I want to know how much that impacts it.
You guys haven't
Well-
really been exposed to UBW at all, so...
I'll say for Unlimited Blade Works, I watched the first episode, and I loved it. Like, it was fantastic. As far as the first episode is concerned.
I mean,
Happy to hear.
personally, I guess maybe I know less than I thought I did, but like I'm a huge fan of Fate Zero, so I feel like I'm exposed to the Fate universe. I feel like I know somewhat of what to expect, but
It's different.
I wouldn't expect Fate Zero out of it. It's a different.
Alright.
It's almost a different genre. Well, UBW less so, but
okay.
it won't be the same as what you got.
Okay. I don't know.
It has main characters this time around.
Either way, I'm excited, and I've been putting the show off for a while, but I am at least very interested in the Fate universe. So
We're definitely looking forward to this one.
Oh, and it looks beautiful. Yeah.
It does look so beautiful. Please keep giving
That I know.
Ufotable Type Moonworks and stop giving them anything else, because there's a definite difference in like Ufotable Type Moon and Ufotable otherwise. Also Type Moon with Ufotable and Type Moon otherwise.
but now A1 has Type
did
Moon,
Madoka.
so-
Madoka was good.
Wait.
Yeah, but it also did that other
Ufotable
thing.
didn't do Madoka.
Never mind.
Shaft
yeah, Shaft. did
Shaft.
that. Shaft definitely did Madoka. They do the
And
next
we
thing actually.
we
like,
don't talk
multiple
about
times.
Shaft.
I don't know what you're trying to say. But yeah, no, Ufotable with Type Moon always goes really well in terms of it. Yep, there we go. Hey, Shaft.
But A1 is the new Fate Apocrypha, so we'll see.
We'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, that was also announced. Congratulations.
I guess
it's
with
somewhat
all
timely.
that in mind, the gaming channels should be starting back up very soon as well.
Yes.
Break is over. Both players are in the same building again, or they will be tomorrow. So that should start off very quickly. And with all that in mind, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.